I'll never forget the day my son, Jack, stopped speaking to me. It was 12 years ago, and we had just gotten into a huge argument over his decision to drop out of college. I had always been a supportive parent, but Jack's decision had left me feeling disappointed and worried about his future. I had tried to reason with him, but he just wouldn't listen. As the years went by, I heard through mutual friends that Jack was struggling to make ends meet. He had gotten a low-paying job and was barely scraping by. I wanted to reach out to him, to offer my help and support, but my pride got in the way. I didn't want to be rejected again, so I just kept my distance. But little did I know, Jack had been keeping an eye on me from afar. He had been watching my business grow and flourish, and he had become increasingly jealous of my success. I had always been careful with my finances, but I had recently come into a large sum of money, $300,000 to be exact. I had been hiding it away, waiting for the right moment to invest it and secure my future. But Jack had somehow found out about it, and he was determined to get his hands on it. He showed up at my office one day, his eyes fixed greedily on the check. "You're going to regret this, Dad," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "You'll never see a penny of this," I replied, my voice firm but trembling with rage. Little did he know, I had a plan. I had been expecting Jack to come crawling back eventually, and I had been preparing for this moment. I had set up a trap, one that would teach him a lesson he would never forget. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw something that gave me pause. I saw a glimmer of the son I once knew, the son who had been lost to his own pride and ambition. And in that moment, I knew that I had to make a choice. I could either let my anger and hurt consume me, or I could try to reach out to him, to bring him back from the brink. But as I looked at the check, I knew that I couldn't just give it to him. I had worked too hard for it, and I wasn't about to let him squander it on his reckless ways. So I made a decision, one that would change everything. You want the money? I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Then you'll have to earn it. Jack's eyes narrowed, but I could see the desperation in his eyes. He was willing to do whatever it took to get his hands on that money. And that's when I knew that I had him right where I wanted him. I had a plan, one that would teach him a lesson he would never forget. But as I looked into his eyes, I saw something that gave me pause. I saw a glimmer of the son I once knew, the son who had been lost to his own pride and ambition. And in that moment, I knew that I had to make a choice. I could either let my anger and hurt consume me, or I could try to reach out to him, to bring him back from the brink. But as I looked at the check, I knew that I couldn't just give it to him. I had worked too hard for it, and I wasn't about to let him squander it on his reckless ways. So I made a decision, one that would change everything. You want the money? I said, my voice dripping with sarcasm. Then you'll have to earn it. Jack's eyes narrowed, but I could see the desperation in his eyes. He was willing to do whatever it took to get his hands on that money. And that's when I knew that I had him right where I wanted him. I had a plan, one that would teach him a lesson he would never forget. But little did I know, Jack had a few tricks up his sleeve as well. He was determined to get his hands on that money, no matter what it took. As the days went by, Jack and I engaged in a game of cat and mouse. He would try to negotiate with me, to convince me to give him the money, but I was resolute. I knew that I had to teach him a lesson, one that would make him realize the value of hard work and determination. But as the game continued, I began to realize that Jack was not the only one who was playing. There were other forces at work, forces that were manipulating him from behind the scenes. And as I dug deeper, I discovered a shocking truth, one that would change everything. But that's a story for another time. For now, let's just say that Jack and I were in for the fight of our lives. And only one of us would emerge victorious. To be continued. As the days turned into weeks, the tension between Jack and me continued to build. He would show up at my office every day, trying to convince me to give him the money. But I was resolute, determined to teach him a lesson. One day, as we were negotiating, I noticed a strange look on Jack's face. It was a look of confidence, of certainty. And then it hit me, he was getting help from someone else. "Who's behind you, Jack?" I asked, my voice firm. But Jack just smiled, a sly smile that sent a chill down my spine. "You'll find out soon enough," he said, his voice dripping with malice. I knew then that I had to be careful. Jack was no longer just a rebellious son, he was a pawn in a much larger game. And I had to find out who was pulling the strings. I started to dig deeper, to investigate who was behind Jack's sudden confidence. And what I found shocked me. It was an old business rival, someone who had been trying to take me down for years. He had been secretly funding Jack's lifestyle, giving him the money he needed to keep coming after me. But why? What did he hope to gain from this? I knew then that I had to take drastic action. I couldn't just sit back and let Jack and his puppet master continue to manipulate me. I had to take control of the situation. So I made a decision. I would give Jack an ultimatum, a choice between two options. And if he chose the wrong one, he would lose everything. "Jack, I'm giving you a choice," I said, my voice firm. "You can either work for me, learn the business and earn the money, or you can take a chance and try to take me down. But if you choose the latter, you'll lose everything. You'll be cut off from the family, and you'll never see a penny of that money." Jack's eyes narrowed, and I could see the wheels turning in his head. He was weighing his options, trying to decide what to do. And then, in a move that shocked me, he made his choice. "I'll take you down," he said, his voice dripping with confidence. I felt a surge of anger, of hurt. How could my own son turn against me like this? But I knew I had to keep my cool. I had to stay one step ahead of Jack and his puppet master. So I smiled, a cold, calculating smile. "Very well," I said. "Let's play this game. But remember, Jack, you're playing with fire. And you're going to get burned." And with that, the game was on. Jack and I were engaged in a battle of wits, a battle for control of the family business. And only one of us would emerge victorious. As the days turned into weeks, the tension continued to build. Jack and I were locked in a struggle, each of us trying to outmaneuver the other. But I had a secret that would give me the upper hand. I had been working on a plan to take down Jack and his puppet master once and for all. And it was almost ready. I could feel the excitement building inside me, the anticipation of the final showdown. It was going to be a battle for the ages, a battle that would determine the fate of the family business. And I was ready. But just as I was about to make my move, something unexpected happened. Jack's puppet master made a mistake that would change everything. He underestimated me, thought I was just a foolish old man. But I was not foolish. I was cunning, and I was ready. And with that mistake, the game changed. The tables were turned, and Jack and his puppet master were on the defensive. It was my turn to attack, to take control of the situation. And I was ready. But just as I was about to make my move, I received a surprise visit from an old friend. Someone who had been watching the game from the sidelines, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And what he told me shocked me. It was a revelation that would change everything. "Your son is not who you think he is," he said, his voice low and serious. I felt a surge of confusion, of uncertainty. What did he mean? And then, in a move that shocked me, he revealed the truth. A truth that would change everything. But that's a story for another time. For now, Let's just say that the game was about to get a lot more complicated. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. My son, not who I thought he was. What did that even mean? I looked at my old friend, my mind racing with questions. What are you talking about? I asked, my voice shaking with emotion. My friend hesitated, as if unsure of how to proceed. I'm sorry, old friend, he said finally. I didn't want to have to tell you this, but I think you have a right to know. Jack is not your biological son. I felt like I had been hit by a freight train. Not my biological son. What did that mean? I thought back to Jack's childhood, to all the memories we had made together. Had it all been a lie? I looked at my friend, my eyes searching for answers. What do you mean? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My friend took a deep breath before speaking. I've been doing some digging, and I found out that Jack's mother, your ex-wife, had an affair with another man. Jack is his son, not yours. I felt like I had been living in a dream world, a world that had just been shattered. I thought back to my marriage, to all the fights and arguments my ex-wife and I had. Had it all been a lie? Had she been cheating on me the whole time? I felt a surge of anger and betrayal, but also a deep sadness. I had raised Jack as my own, had loved him and cared for him. And now, I was being told that he wasn't even mine. It was too much to take in. I looked at my friend, my eyes searching for answers. Why are you telling me this now? I asked, my voice shaking with emotion. My friend hesitated before speaking. I'm sorry, old friend. I know this is a lot to take in. But I think you need to know the truth. Jack is not who you think he is, and he's been playing you all along. I felt like I had been punched in the gut again. Jack, playing me all along. What did that mean? I thought back to our recent interactions, to all the times he had tried to manipulate me. Had it all been a game to him? I felt a surge of anger and hurt, but also a deep sadness. I had been so blind, so trusting. And now, I was being told that it had all been a lie. I didn't know what to do, what to think. I felt like my whole world had been turned upside down. My friend put a hand on my shoulder, his eyes filled with compassion. I'm sorry, old friend, he said. I know this is a lot to take in. But I'm here for you. We'll get through this together. I nodded, my eyes welling up with tears. I didn't know what to do, what to think. But I knew one thing, I had to confront Jack. I had to know the truth, once and for all. I stood up, my heart pounding in my chest. I need to talk to Jack, I said, my voice firm. My friend nodded, his eyes serious. I'll come with you, he said. We'll face him together. I nodded, my heart filled with determination. I was ready to face the truth, no matter what it was. I was ready to confront Jack, to find out once and for all who he really was. But as we walked out of the room, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was walking into a trap. That Jack was waiting for me, ready to strike. And that this time, there would be no escape. As we walked to Jack's office, I could feel the tension building inside me. I was determined to get to the bottom of this, to find out the truth about my son's identity. My friend walked beside me, his eyes scanning the surroundings as if searching for any signs of danger. I knew he was trying to protect me, but I also knew that I had to face this alone. I had to confront Jack, to look him in the eye and ask him the questions that had been burning inside me. We reached Jack's office and I took a deep breath before opening the door. Jack was sitting behind his desk, a look of calm confidence on his face. But as soon as he saw me, his expression changed. He looked guilty, like he knew he had been caught. Dad, he said, his voice hesitant. What's going on? I walked into the room, my eyes fixed on Jack's face. "We need to talk," I said, my voice firm. Jack nodded, his eyes darting to my friend and then back to me. "Okay," he said. "What is it?" I took a deep breath before speaking. "I know the truth," I said, my voice steady. "I know you're not my biological son." Jack's eyes widened, his face pale. "Who told you?" he asked, his voice shaking. I didn't answer, instead I pressed on. "I want to know the truth," I said. "I want to know why you've been lying to me all these years." Jack looked away, his eyes avoiding mine. "I don't know what you're talking about," he said, his voice barely above a whisper. I felt a surge of anger, but I kept my cool. "Don't lie to me," I said, my voice firm. "I know the truth. I just want to know why." Jack looked up, his eyes meeting mine. For a moment, I thought I saw a glimmer of guilt, of remorse. But then his expression changed, and he looked at me with a cold, calculating gaze. "You'll never understand," he said, his voice dripping with malice. "You'll never understand what it's like to be me." I felt a chill run down my spine. What did he mean? What was he trying to say? I leaned forward, my eyes fixed on Jack's face. "Try me," I said, my voice steady. Jack smiled, a cold, cruel smile. "You want to know the truth?" he said, his voice dripping with malice. "I'll tell you the truth. But you might not like what you hear." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. I was ready to hear the truth, no matter what it was. I was ready to face whatever Jack had to say. But as he opened his mouth to speak, I felt a sense of trepidation. What was he going to say? What secrets was he going to reveal? I steeled myself, preparing for the worst. But nothing could have prepared me for what Jack said next. "You're not my father," Jack said, his voice cold and detached. "But that's not the worst of it. You see, I've been playing a game with you, a game of cat and mouse. And I've been winning." I felt a surge of anger and hurt, but I kept my cool. "What are you talking about?" I asked, my voice steady. Jack smiled again, his eyes glinting with malice. "I've been manipulating you, using you to get what I want. And what I want is the family business." I felt a chill run down my spine. "You can't have it," I said, my voice firm. "It's not yours to take." Jack laughed, a cold, mirthless sound. "Oh, but it is," he said. "You see, I've been planning this for a long time. I've been gathering allies, building a coalition of people who will help me take down the family business and claim it for myself." I felt a sense of dread building inside me. Who were these allies? What did they want? Who are they? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Jack smiled again, his eyes glinting with triumph. "You'll find out soon enough," he said. "But for now, let's just say that they're powerful people, people who will stop at nothing to get what they want." I felt a surge of fear, but I refused to back down. "I won't let you do it," I said, my voice firm. "I won't let you take down the family business." Jack laughed again, his eyes glinting with malice. "You can't stop me," he said. "I have the upper hand. And soon, I'll have everything I want." I felt a sense of desperation building inside me. I had to stop Jack, no matter what it took. I had to protect the family business, no matter the cost. I looked at my friend, my eyes pleading for help. But he just shook his head, his eyes filled with sadness. "I'm sorry," he said. "I didn't know it was this bad." I felt a surge of anger, but I knew I couldn't blame my friend. He had done everything he could to help me, to warn me about Jack's true nature. But I had been too blind, too trusting. I had let my emotions cloud my judgment, and now I was paying the price. I looked at Jack, my eyes filled with determination. "I won't give up," I said. "I won't let you win." Jack smiled again, his eyes glinting with triumph. "We'll see about that," he said. And with that, he turned and walked away, leaving me feeling defeated and helpless. But I knew I couldn't give up. I had to keep fighting, no matter what. I had to protect the family business, no matter the cost. I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the battle ahead. I knew it wouldn't be easy, but I was ready. I was ready to fight for what was rightfully mine. I watched as Jack walked away, his confident stride eating up the distance. I felt a surge of anger and frustration, but I knew I had to keep my cool. I couldn't let my emotions get the best of me, not now. I turned to my friend, my eyes searching for answers. "What can we do?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My friend shook his head, his eyes filled with concern. "I don't know," he said. "Jack's got a lot of powerful people backing him. We're going to have to be careful." I nodded, my mind racing with possibilities. I knew we couldn't take on Jack alone, not with the resources he had at his disposal. But I also knew we couldn't give up. We had to find a way to stop him, no matter what. I took a deep breath, my eyes scanning the room. I knew I had to think, to come up with a plan. But as I looked around, I realized that we were being watched. There were people lurking in the shadows, people who seemed to be waiting for something to happen. I felt a shiver run down my spine as I realized that Jack's allies were closing in. We were running out of time. I turned to my friend, my eyes locked on his. "We need to get out of here," I said, my voice urgent. "Now." My friend nodded, his eyes scanning the room. "I know a way," he said. "Follow me." We moved quickly, dodging through the crowds of people. I could feel eyes on us, watching us, but I didn't dare look back. I knew we had to keep moving, to get as far away from Jack's allies as possible. We finally emerged into the cool night air, gasping with relief. But as we looked around, I realized that we weren't safe yet. There were still people watching us, people who seemed to be waiting for us to make a move. I felt a surge of fear, but I knew I had to stay calm. We had to keep moving, to find a way to stop Jack once and for all. I turned to my friend, my eyes locked on his. "We need to come up with a plan," I said, my voice firm. "We need to stop Jack before it's too late." My friend nodded, his eyes serious. "I know someone who can help us," he said. "Someone who knows Jack's secrets." I felt a surge of hope, but I knew I had to be careful. We couldn't trust just anyone. "Who is it?" I asked, my voice cautious. My friend hesitated, his eyes scanning the surrounding area. "I'll tell you," he said finally. "But you have to promise to keep an open mind." I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew I had to be willing to do whatever it took to stop Jack. "I promise," I said, my voice firm. My friend took a deep breath before speaking. "It's someone from Jack's past," he said. "Someone who knows his secrets, someone who can help us bring him down." I felt a surge of excitement, but I knew I had to be careful. We couldn't trust just anyone. "Who is it?" I asked again, my voice urgent. My friend hesitated, his eyes locked on mine. "It's Jack's mother," he said finally. I felt a shock run through me, a shock that left me breathless. Jack's mother? What did she have to do with anything? I looked at my friend, my eyes searching for answers. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. I felt like I had been punched in the gut. "Jack's mother? What did she have to do with anything?" I looked at my friend, my eyes searching for answers. "What do you mean?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. My friend took a deep breath before speaking. Jack's mother has been in hiding for years, he said. She's been trying to protect herself from Jack's father, who is a very powerful man. But she's also been keeping secrets that could bring Jack down. I felt a surge of hope, a hope that I hadn't felt in a long time. Could it be true? Could Jack's mother hold the key to stopping him? I looked at my friend, my eyes locked on his. Take me to her, I said, my voice firm. My friend nodded, his eyes serious. But you have to be careful, he said. Jack's father is a powerful man, and he will stop at nothing to protect his son. I nodded, my heart pounding in my chest. I knew I had to be careful, but I also knew I had to take the risk. I had to see this through, no matter what. We made our way to Jack's mother's hiding place, a small cabin on the outskirts of town. As we approached, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I was nervous, but I was also determined. I had to see this through, no matter what. We reached the cabin and I knocked on the door. It was answered by a woman who looked like she had been through hell. Her eyes were sunken, her skin pale. But as she saw me, a glimmer of hope appeared in her eyes. You're here to stop Jack, she said, her voice barely above a whisper. I nodded, my eyes locked on hers. I am, I said. I won't let him get away with what he's done. Jack's mother nodded, a small smile on her face. I knew you were the one, she said. I knew you would be the one to bring him down. She stepped aside and let us in, leading us to a small room in the back of the cabin. It was filled with papers that detailed Jack's plans, his schemes. I felt a surge of anger as I read through them, a surge of anger that I had never felt before. How could he do this? How could he betray me like this? I looked up at Jack's mother, my eyes locked on hers. Why? I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. Why did he do it? Jack's mother shook her head, her eyes filled with tears. He's always been like this, she said. He's always been selfish, always looking out for himself. But I never thought he would go this far. I nodded, my heart heavy with sorrow. I knew I had to stop him, no matter what. I had to bring him down, no matter the cost. I looked at my friend, my eyes locked on his. Let's do it, I said, my voice firm. Let's bring him down. My friend nodded, his eyes serious. We'll do it together, he said. We'll bring him down together. And with that, we set out to stop Jack, to bring him down and make him pay for what he had done. It wasn't easy, but we did it. We brought him down, and we made him pay. And as I stood in the courtroom, watching as Jack was sentenced to life in prison, I felt a sense of satisfaction, a sense of karma. He had gotten what was coming to him, and I had finally found closure. I looked at my friend, my eyes locked on his. Thank you, I said, my voice barely above a whisper. Thank you for helping me. My friend smiled, his eyes filled with tears. You're welcome, he said. You're welcome, my friend. And with that, we hugged, a hug that was filled with emotion, filled with gratitude. We had done it, we had brought Jack down, and we had finally found closure.